ever ask yourself, why is everybody else able to catch fish and all the YouTubes and the internets, and I seem to be always struggling? Well, after 10 years of professionally fishing and coaching hundreds of frustrated anglers out there, trust me, it's never down to just luck. But it's also not brain surgery either. It's usually down to a handful of very simple mistakes most anglers never know they're making. So in today's video, I'll show you what those mistakes are, how to notice them for yourself, and the exact real-time on-the-water fixes I use all the time and that's helped my students double their catches fast.
All right, we're leaving.
Okay, so step one is critical if you want to double your catch, and it works like this. Fish change their preferences all the time. So if you and your buddies start to experiment when you go out there and fish different ways, you could really quickly hone in on what those fish are looking for, just overall what the fish want. So I want you to take a look at this real time, real fishing with some real heavy hitters for fluke fishing. So right next to me here, you got Lenny. He's a master at fluke fishing. And in front of him, you have another master, Frank. Okay, now Frank is going to be using a bucktail rig. That's a bucktail on the bottom and a hook on the top. And he's going to be using small gulp baits of natural color, okay, like mackerel color, okay, a lot of these translucent colors that look very natural on the bottom. Now Lenny, right in the middle of us here, he's going to use the same bucktail rig with different colors, but he's going to use bait. Some big old long pieces of bait, you know, traditionally what you would use for fluke fishing. And then me in front of Lenny, I'm going to use a bucktail rig and I'm going to use some big old bright colored gulp baits. Okay, so these are bright colored bucktail, bright colored teaser on top, and just bright, loud, big gulp baits. Now the gentlemen on the other side of the boat that are fishing, they're going to be using chicken rigs, and they're going to be using big baits on chicken rigs. That's a weight on the bottom and a high-low rig, 2 hooks higher up top. So they're fishing a different part of the strike zone with big baits. And you're gonna see all the questions we're asking each other. We're gonna try to figure it out fish by fish. We're just honing in on those preferences, and we're figuring out, working as a team, working as a group, and we're gonna hone in on these fish. And you're gonna see a difference from the beginning of the trip to the end of the trip of fish in the cooler. Frank, I got all artificial and I haven't had a bite, so. I got gulp on the bottom and a lure on top. Yeah. You get yours off a bait or the gulp on top? Oh, you did get them on a gulp?
Perfect. Oh, we're good, baby.
Would that one hit off a pink shine or bait?
That was a gulp, but it was mackerel.
Oh, gulp. Okay.
A good taller lately. Nice flounder, pal.
So you only catch the big ones, huh?
Yeah, you don't catch many, just a big one.
Yeah. All right. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. I'm on the board, Lenny. A little baby flounder, that's all. A little bubby. Yeah. A little baby. There it goes. These small pieces seem to be getting hits. All right, so the solution here, as you could tell, is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using some really small cut bait. And this is what I picked up from Frank and Lenny. So Frank was using smaller gulp baits and was catching fish. Now Lenny was also catching fish with big bait. So there's 2 hints there. One, the fish were on the preference of cut bait, okay, that's actual meat, and they were on the preference of smaller profile baits, in this case Frank's gulp. So I put 2 and 2 together, and what I started to do is uncomfortably cutting my bait very small. I just started halving my baits, what I would normally use, and putting cut bait and a very small piece of cut bait on my hooks, and that made all the difference in the world for this trip. Pretty soon the entire boat transitions over to this, and you're gonna see a major difference in both the size of fluke that we're catching and the quantity of fluke that we're catching. And the important thing to realize here is just don't fall into those same old mindsets and bad internet and YouTube advice of big bait catches big fish. Really big fish do get honed in on very small bait, and you have to be paying attention to that if you want to make the correct adjustments out there on the water to catch the most amount of fish and the biggest fish you can day to day.
That's a big sea robin. Oh my gosh.
So there are some huge sea robins here around this time of year, and I absolutely love these fish, but they make great fluke bait. So if you ever catch a sea robin, and we got some big ones, they're basically gonna supply our fresh cut bait throughout the entire trip. We're gonna use bonita, a very oily, a very strong fish, and we're gonna use these fresh sea robin that we catch and we cut up. And again, it's gonna be so key here because the fish's preferences on this day was fresh cut bait and small bait. And those sea robin fillets cut in half are the absolute perfect size that those flounder were looking for. And you're gonna see me grabbing a bunch of these, using them to great effect and just catching loads and loads of fluke because I was able to follow my own steps here, my own advice. On the water, real-time advice here, and I was able to follow these steps and I was able to hone in on those fish and just catch a ton of fish. But those sea robins are absolutely key, and that's gonna be our bait supplier for the whole day.
Ooh. Right there.
That's a nice fish there.
Yeah.
Nice flounder. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Oh yeah.
Nice one.
Yep.
And this is what we do with big flounders is
So step 2 here is also going to be critical for your catches, and it's going to work something like this. I want you to imagine, right, you're sitting at home and it's middle of summer and your air conditioner breaks. So the first thing you do is to try to save some money and time. You get on the YouTube machine, right, and you start scrolling through how to fix my air conditioner, and you spend about 3 hours looking at, you know, different fixes and different problems of your air conditioner, try to fix it yourself, and eventually you just end up calling like an HVAC guy, comes over, and you spend the money you had to spend anyway, and your air conditioner gets fixed by a professional. Well, many times in fishing, this is the exact same thing. So people will spend countless hours on YouTube trying to catch themselves up, and really some of the answers are just right there staring them in the face. And in this particular instance, you just need to be paying attention to what other people around you are doing. So in this particular instance, we're on a boat, but this could be on the beach, this could be on a jetty, this could be in your local ponds. If you notice somebody catching fish, just ask what they're doing. Keep in mind, watch them. Are they jigging fast? Are they jigging slow? Pay attention to their gear. You know, another terrible piece of advice out there is to use these extra fast action rods all the time. But you'll notice a lot of people that actually know what they're doing are fishing with moderate action rods. The rods have some shock absorption in there. The rods have some bend to it. So if you see somebody fishing really fast, but they're using like a moderate action rod, they're not actually putting all that much motion on the jigs on the bottom of the earth there. Now, if you're using a broomstick for a rod and you're putting the same action on it, you could be having this wildly erratic motion of your baits and your lures down there. And again, that may not be what the fish are looking for. And if you really like these tips and you want to bring these tips with you anywhere you go fishing, feel free to check out my new book, Catch More Fish by Fishing with Johnny Fish a Lot, where we actually break these things down in great detail, and I show you all the pictures and charts to help you out so that you have this advice with you at all times. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Go ahead. I'd really love to hear what you think about it. Thanks so much, Fish a Lot. Really appreciate it. It's also a great way to support the channel.
oh, look at those two. They're pals.
Too short, yeah.
Yeah, look at them. They're like, hey Larry, what's happening?
There goes the shark.
There goes the shark.
We just got shark.
Oh, that was a good fish. There we go.
Yep.
Ooh, look, you see the shark?
Yeah, he's right there.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Drag it up. He's going to eat it again. All right,
A brown shark.
Bring it up. Bring it up.
Oh, that was a nice flounder.
Yeah, man. Look at the size of that flounder.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Actually, you got a 30 wide? I'll take some fun with the shark.
No.
And so step 3 here is going to be incredibly important as well if you want to outfish all your buddies out there, and it works something like this. Imagine you're out there in the ocean floating around, you know, on a little tubie out on the beach there, and you got like a sandwich with you. Okay, now let's say it's just a nice peaceful day, there's not much going on, you have food, you're comfortable, you're laying in the raft. Yeah, you're going to go ahead and eat that sandwich, you're going to enjoy some life. Then, I want you to imagine you're floating out there, you got a piece of sandwich, and you see some sharks around you. Well, now you're going to be on high alert, and your concern is going to be to get to safety, to get to the beach, okay? To get away from the sharks. Okay, you're not going to sit there and eat the sandwich while you got some sharks swimming around you. You're going to be like, I'm going to eat the sandwich anyway, because you yourself are not interested in becoming lunch. And fishing works a lot in the same ways. So you hear me talk about it all the time on the channel. You need to find the fish's comfort zone, you need to find their easy access to food, and you need to find protection from predators. And this is how this is going to work right here. Some of the bad advice out there on YouTube and the internets is you find the bait, you find the fish, you find the activity, and you're going to find active feeding fish. And sometimes that's absolutely not true because you just have too many predators around. So you'll see really here in this video, there's a ton of sharks around. We are fishing, you know, early fall time period here, and in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, it's a great time to fish. There's just so many fish. And you're just gonna see a ton of sharks around. You're gonna see them pick off a few of our fluke, and then you're gonna see some ribbon fish. And you know, if you just cannot get your baits down to the fish because there are too many toothy critters around, there's a couple of moves and a couple of pivots you can make to make sure you're targeting the fish that you're after. One thing is you can find deeper zones of those fish. You can find areas of higher current where those ribbon fish don't really want to be at. You can just find different areas where your fish has different preferences than some of those predatory fish. And that's exactly what we do. We kind of move out of areas of really toothy fish to really hone in and make sure that we're catching the most amount of fluke, especially after, you know, you're losing your rigs. These ribbon fish have a ton of teeth, and if you're fishing around ribbon fish, you're gonna go through at least $100 worth of bucktails in about 20 minutes. So not ideal for anybody, and that's another key to getting on your select species of fish is finding your fish, finding their easy access to food, but also finding areas where those predators aren't around, because those fish typically will get lockjaw, just like you will floating on the beach with a shark swim by. You want to get to the beach and not be out there still eating your sandwich.
Get these scissors.
That's a nice little flatty. Yeah. Maybe? No. No. Oh, yeah. It's a nice flounder. There you go. Ooh, I don't know if it'll... Hey, Damas might maybe make the bucket. I don't know. I can't tell.
Come on.
Nah, short, right?
I think he's short. I'll check him.
Yeah. Right. It's all technique. A nice one? Oh yeah, that's a nice one. There we go. Survived the sharks, but couldn't survive Frank.
I'm trying to get something different.
Another photo up for Frank there. That's a nice one. Yeah, you took that down pretty hard. On
I thought
sale.
it was buy one, get one free.
Small, huh?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, keep them in the water. Sorry, Lenny, I took over your spot here. Yeah, there you go. That might do it.
At least it puts us over for yesterday.
Now, these tips can absolutely catch you tons of fish. However, all these tips won't mean anything if you rig up your lures and your baits incorrectly, where you're not presenting your lures and baits naturally in front of fish. So go ahead and click on this video right here, where I show you exactly how to avoid these mistakes so that your baits look great and that you're loading your coolers with fish. Thanks for tuning in, Fish Lots. I'll see you out there on the water.